Oh, baby, I'm
On some
about
gay
to
shit.
dive in.
Big game energy,
Okay.
713. It is July 13th. It's a big day down here in Houston Day. But we got several things to talk about. We are doing episode 1 of our NFL preview series, why your favorite team will not win the Super Bowl in 2026. Today we are starting with the Seahawks and the Cardinals in the NFC West. And then we'll also talk about the disappointing fight, in quotations, that was the Conor McGregor fight, UFC 329 this weekend. James, a lot to discuss. Let's get right into it without further ado.
Yeah, man.
This is why the Seattle Seahawks will not win the Super Bowl in 2027. They are the reigning Super Bowl champions. They have everyone pretty much coming back to the roster. But, James, reasons why they won't win the Super Bowl in 2027.
Wow.
What do you got for me?
Spence, I'm going to go with the number one reason why they will not repeat, because it's hard to repeat. Hell, Spence, you remember the last time somebody repeated?
The last time someone repeated, I believe, was the Patriots, right?
Yeah, you know who that quarterback was? It was Tom Brady, and that man's been retired for a long time. So, number one, it looks like the obvious history. It's hard to repeat. The Chiefs haven't done it. The Patriots has been so long. Heck, I can't even remember. Was it 07, 08? Maybe it was 03, 04, I think, really, in all honesty. But it just history-wise does not look good for the Seahawks. Now, of course, you mentioned they bring everybody back. Yes, you lose Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs. Yes, you lose Reek Woolen to the Eagles. But you still have the nucleus there. You still have the coaching staff there. Hell, if it wasn't for Sam Darnold freaking playing like trash in Super Bowl 61, you could easily say your reigning Super Bowl MVP is back. But I'll say it like this, Vince. One thing only. One, the repeat is not going to happen. Two, again, you are probably in the toughest division in the NFL after what we see the Niners do every year, with healthy team, without a healthy team, what the Rams are going to be doing, the rumors about the Rams bringing Aaron Darnold back. I saw the TMZ video at the facility, but again, the NFC is still pretty tough. You still have, again, the Rams, who everyone likes as the Super Bowl favorite. Two, the Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59. And then three, you have the upcoming teams like Chicago. You have, again, teams that can be competitive for the Seahawks. I like what they can do. And again, you get more film on this nucleus. And hey, man, it's hard to bet against the Seahawks, but history tells me I can't bet them.
Yeah, for me, you hit on all the things I was going to mention. I definitely agree with you. They bring in most of the core back, the nucleus, as you say. Yeah. They take a step back at running back, cornerback, and edge depth. And DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a mainstay for the defensive front last year. It's no guarantee that he's the same level as he continues to get older and older. Right. He's on the way out of the NFL. So if he regresses a little bit, that could be a big problem on the defensive end. But one thing that's also a big concern for me is the fact that they did lose their OC. He is gone now. He is the new head coach, Clint Kubiak, in Las Vegas. Ooh. So Sam Darnold, looking at you again, buddy. Can you do it 2 years in a row? Can you prove all the haters wrong? Because he, once again, despite winning the Super Bowl, is going to have haters. Now, I'm not sure if I'm still in that camp or not.
I'm not on that camp. I was on the camp in Minnesota. Now I'm like, okay, there's got to be something in the water.
Yeah, but at the same time, was it so much of the roster being around him? Was that the continuity with the OC? And now we have a new OC in there who, by all means, could be good, but is not proven. He's not Clint Kubiak. He's not a proven play caller. Correct. We don't know what we're going to get there yet. Now, you still have JSN, right? You get Jadarian Price at the end of the first round to help shore up the loss of Kenneth Walker. But if the Seahawks are going to repeat as champions, which I don't see it happening, they're going to have to bank on the fact that the rest of the division is as injured as it was last year. We look at the 49ers. That team was beat to death all season long. The Rams went up and down with health, and guys were playing through injuries all year long. Mm-hmm. They, of course, like you mentioned, they've gotten better. Just the pathway for the Seahawks this year, despite bringing everyone back, it just seems like it's going to be too tall of a task for them to repeat because everyone else has gotten so much better. And I really think they either have gotten worse or stayed the same. And if you stayed the same in the NFL, chances are good you are not going to be as good as you were the year before.
Correct. Look at what happened with the Eagles in Super Bowl 59. the same roster up and down. Yeah, you lose Kellen Moore, who coached OC with the Eagles, then goes to be the Saints head coach. You lose guys like Mekhi Becton. Other than that, nothing changed, and the Eagles plateaued and looked worse than they did last year. So yeah, it could easily happen. You think about the first couple games I'm looking at, Spence. You kick off the season versus the Patriots. I like that. They should just do that for now on, like Super Bowl rematches week 1. I like that. So you get Patriots week 1 for the Seahawks. Then you get the cupcake. You got the Cardinals. I'm going to call a cupcake on the Commanders. Then you got to play the Chargers and 49ers and Broncos. So can they start off the season 4-2? Yeah, I think so. But again, the Rams have all the chips on the board right now, and I feel like it's their year to push above, be the top of the NFC West, hopefully also the NFC. Of course, me wearing an Eagle shirt, I don't want that to happen, but the Rams just look top-notch, really good. And again, the Rams lost their last 2 playoff games versus very high-powered offensive teams. So hopefully they have picked up their defense.
With us doing this series, it's definitely going to give us more of a pessimistic look at all these teams. But for the Seahawks, even though we're saying we don't expect them to win the Super Bowl this year, do you have them at least making the playoffs again?
Yeah, they'll make the playoffs, unfortunately.
Do you have them winning the division?
No, I won't have them win the division. Again, last year, I still think about last year, and yes, they might have throttled the Rams offensively in that playoff game, but I think about that Thursday night football game where the Rams were they were kicking the crap out of them, and it was just like one doink of the helmet, 2-point conversion, fluke, and somehow it just like sometimes
would things have been different if Sam Darnold had to play on the road in the playoffs?
Maybe,
because that's what Matthew Stafford had to do.
My projection for the NFC and for the Seahawks, I think Seattle, they go 12-5, 11-6. They're in second place in the NFC West, which unfortunately puts them at the 5 seed. So I think they'll be a tough 5 seed. They beat out the 4 seed, which will be the NFC South. So we'll get that out of the way. And then you play either the Rams. I'm going to go, this is a future pick for me, the Eagles as the NFC East champs, and then the Bears as the NFC North champ. And then that's where I think things get murky, because then you're the 5 seed going into LA, which I know is not a home field advantage. You go to Philly or you go to Chicago, which is going to be drastically colder than Seattle. Still, I know they can handle the conditions. Not a big deal. But I'm going to put my money on Chicago and the frozen tundra and then the link over Seattle. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, the other team we're talking about this week, the Arizona Cardinals, have absolutely zero chance at winning the Super Bowl this year. Now, that's not exactly a hot take, but we're starting in the NFC West, and I wanted to start with the Super Bowl champs. So we're going to start with the team that was at the top last year and another team that was at the bottom of last year. And as we know, the Arizona Cardinals, it was a disastrous season for them last year. They did a couple things in the offseason to get you a little bit of excited, with the main addition being drafting Jeremiah Love. But James, is Jacoby Brissett, Jeremiah Love, Trey McBride, and Marvin Harrison Jr., is that enough to get them to the Super Bowl in 2026?
Man. For the viewers, our loyal listeners and viewers, remember this time last year, it was me, Spence, we were chit-chatting about projections for the NFC West, and somebody out here said, I believe in Kyler Murray, and the Cardinals are going to be first in the NFC West. Whoo, man, Spence, a lot has happened since then for the Cardinals.
Yeah, we're about a month away from us discussing the Vikings, but we will talk about Kyler once again. But for the Cardinals.
Yes, sorry. So this is who we should have started with. I think this is the right one. We should have started with the team that we know ain't going to make them. We had to start with Seattle. No, of course. You draft Jeremiah Love. Honestly, do I think he's a great talent out of Notre Dame? Yes. Was he the best running back in college? Yes. Again, I'm going to be the guy that just poo-poos on drafting running backs in the top 10. It's just one of those things. It's a depleting asset. I get it. They're trying to get the market back up with all these other. But for Jeremiah Love to be the highest paid running back, holy moly, you better be spectacular. And for a team that's going to be getting clobbered by the Niners, the Seahawks, and the Rams, I expect this team to go 1-5 in the division. Let's just get that out the way first. Maybe they sneak a Thursday night football dove somewhere. But this team, even with Jacoby Brissett, and even with the offensive fantasy power that this team brought last year, throwing it to Trey McBride, again, it wasn't the best season for Marvin Harrison Jr. Hopefully they can get that started. But again, you know your season's not going to go well when the headliner is Jacoby Brissett sitting out because of a contract dispute. I think that's where the line got drawn. I know he's been with his teammates working on him, but I look at the Cardinals schedule, Spence, and mind you, we got Chargers, Seahawks, Niners, Giants, Lions. They could start right off the gate either 1-4 or 0-5 from the jump, because the Giants game is in New York, so that's a travel from west to east coast. So can we see some Jackson Dart magic and freaking get 0-5 start for the Cardinals? Yikes, Spence. You want this team as your fantasy.
And trust me, I will be investing a lot of fantasy assets in Trey McBride, Jeremiah Love, if he's not too overvalued, although he could be because he is drafted in the top 10 in the real-life NFL draft, and that usually overvalues him in fantasy drafts. You got Michael Wilson. He had a breakout year last year for the Cardinals, but a lot of that came at the end of the year where Jacoby Brissett was throwing the ball 50 times a game. Marvin Harrison Jr., will he ever reach that ceiling? We'll find out. I think I'd be okay taking flyers on both of them, but that's on one side of the ball. So I think the Cardinals offense, plenty of talent as I just established. The defense, yikes. That defense is, especially in the NFC West, that defense is going to be giving up 30 points a game. And I think when we're talking about why this team won't win the Super Bowl in 2027, it's quite simple for the Arizona Cardinals. They want to be in the Arch Manning, Dante Moore sweepstakes, and they want to get their future quarterback. Yeah. They want to get their franchise face. That's what they're aiming for this season. They just got to get through some tough times. It's not going to be a fun year for you Arizona Cardinal fans, but like we mentioned, fantasy football owners of the Arizona Cardinals players, prepare for a fun time, because talented players on an offense that's constantly going to be playing down big leads, this is a team that's going to feast and put up some numbies, but they absolutely have zero chance of winning the Super Bowl in 2027. Damn. Now, we'll finish up the Rams and the 49ers later this week, but we will be going through every single NFL team and telling you why they will not win the Super Bowl in 2027. And me and James love this because that means we're going to go 31 for 32.
Yeah, you're right. And Spence, matter of fact, we talked about the Seahawks. Where do we rank this Cardinals team? We know in the division. We know there's where they're sitting in the division. But where in the conference? And I guess where would you put them in the draft pick next year?
That's tough because I think you have them, and then every team in the NFC South could either win their division or tank and end up at the top of the draft with the Cardinals. But as far as the other divisions, the NFC North, I don't see a team that's outright going to be tanking this year. In the NFC East, again, same thing. I don't think the Commanders, Giants, they have their quarterbacks. I think they're ready to compete. Cowboys, Eagles, they have quarterbacks. They're ready to compete. The NFC West, we just mentioned it. 49ers paid Brock Purdy. Seahawks paid Sam Darnold. Matthew Stafford, yeah, he's old, but they just drafted Ty Simpson. So there's a lot of teams that I don't think, at least in the NFC, that they care to be in the conversation for tanking in 2027 for, Arch Manning, Dante Moore. I really think in the NFC, it's the Cardinals.
At Chargers, we say L.
L.
At home versus Seattle.
L.
At San Francisco.
L.
At the New York Giants.
I can see that being a stupid game. We'll call it a win. I'll give that a win. I'll give that a win.
At home versus Detroit.
L.
Rams.
L.
Broncos.
L.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys did just lose to the Cardinals last year. I don't think it happened twice in a row. We're going to say L.
Seattle.
I think that's an L.
Rams.
God, do I have them going 0-6? I'll give them an L here. I'll give them a win in Week 18.
Okay. At Kansas City. This
L.
should be when Pat Mahomes is playing.
Oh, he should be back plenty before then.
Commanders.
Okay, I'll give him a win.
Eagles.
L.
And then bye week, so they survive that.
Okay.
But these next 3 weeks, hey, Spence, these might be the best time to win. Jets at home in Arizona.
Okay, we'll give them a win.
We'll give them a dub because guess what? The Jets might just go 0-17 in our book. At New Orleans.
I'm going to give that an L. I think New Orleans is going to be competitive this year.
And then at home versus the Raiders.
I will say that's a dub.
Okay. And then last game's against the Niners, which could be a throwaway game.
Yeah. I gave them 4 wins. 4-13. That'll be in the top 5.
Yeah. Anyone worse, wow. But even then, again, that the difference might be 4-13 and 3-14 is that Giants game at the Meadowlands. So can't wait. Can't wait.
And we might see, I'm not saying it's going to be as shameless as the NBA was this past year, but we might see some teams do some interesting decisions with how hyped the 2027 draft class is and how all these teams are gunning for quarterbacks, and there's a bunch of quarterbacks, there's a bunch of talent. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some questionable decisions by some lower-ranked teams to get into the tank to have high draft picks in the 2027 draft.
Yeah.
But we will be rolling through the Rams and 49ers later this week.
Woo!
On why they will not win the Super Bowl. James, one more topic today, and
oh yeah,
it was probably the most anticlimactic UFC event in my entire life, honestly.
It should be a no huddle. It should be a no huddle, right?
Yeah, potentially. But Conor McGregor is washed. I bought in to the idea that it was going to be a fun fight. It was his first fight in 5 years. The last time we saw him in the octagon, he broke his foot, went out sad. Your wife sent me DMs. Not a good look. 5 years away, legal issues, drug issues. But he came back, and he was ready to fight the second time against Max Holloway. It was a hyped fight, James.
Yeah, it was very hyped.
And we come out, and in the first 5 seconds, does some ninja kick, acting like he's 27 and not 37, and tore something in his knee or some kind of injury. I don't know if we've officially gotten the word on what it was, but he went down immediately. Max Holloway was like, dude, we need to end this fight. And sure enough, it was a 61-second TKO for Max Holloway. And Conor McGregor, is this the last we will ever see of him? It's a valid question that we're all asking ourselves.
Yeah, no, it is valid because, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't stay up for the fight. You know me. I'm on the East Coast. When they do these fights in Vegas, it's way too late for me. I fall asleep. I'm an old guy. So I was very excited to see the highlights. And I look at the notifications at 6 in the morning. And it says, McGregor lost. What happened? I'm like, damn. Like, in round 1? Damn, did he get knocked out? And I'm watching the clip, Spence. And when I see, again, I know the joke right now is Aaron Rodgers can rest. The new meme video is McGregor walking through the light and the smoke and the green lights and all that. But Spence, I looked at him and it just looked like he looked exhausted. His face. I know at the weigh-ins and at the face-off, he very energetic. The tactics that make everything about UFC and him, his legacy. But man, I'm just watching him just kind of like nonchalant walk up there. He just looked exhausted, like he was obviously out of his element for the first time. And again, I hated to see it because he could have easily retired as a double champion when he was in his prime and his greatness. And he could have just retired and everyone would have probably glazed him as the best MMA fighter of all time. But since then, 3 losses to KO, 2 to injury. And I hate to see it, but man, at least we know now I'm done playing with you, Conor. We can drop him like Woody.
Yeah, I'm done with the Conor McGregor gimmick. It was always a gimmick. This fight was always going to be a gimmick in my mind anyways. Yeah. Max Holloway was a perfect fight for him because Max Holloway, he's not really competing with the top dogs anymore after he lost to Ilya in his title fight. It really kind of seemed like, yeah, he's just going to be a big name for a fight. So it seemed like a natural pairing for him and Conor McGregor. And I bet they will try to sell us on a trilogy here in the future. I'm sure they will try to run it back. I'm not going to be interested, though, because what we would have gotten from Conor McGregor against Max Holloway in this second fight, if you think that would have been anything of substance, I'm sorry. You're just romanticizing what Conor McGregor used to be. If you really thought he would have given you an entertaining fight, maybe he would have done a couple of things. Maybe he would have landed a ninja kick like he came jumping, flying out of the first 10 seconds, not even touching gloves. It's just insane to me that after 5 years, that's what you decide to do. You try to do too much. You're a little too extra. You go too pizzazz because you're Conor McGregor and you have to sell the fight. And make no mistake, I'm a hater of Conor McGregor right now. I'm really just annoyed at that. It was a great fight card the whole night. I watched as much of it as I could, and it was amazing fights. But no one's going to remember that fight card except for this moment. That is what it's going to be remembered by. Conor McGregor tearing his knee up in the first 10 seconds of the fight, going down and going out sad. And it really ruined the rest of the night. And for that reason, I know they're going to try to do it again. I personally will not get hyped up for another Conor McGregor fight ever again. It'll happen. I'll probably watch, knowing myself. I am a UFC fan. I'll probably watch just for that reason. But I'm not going to have an ounce of hype. And if you were one of the people that was like, oh, no, he gets a win against Holloway, he's right back in the conversation, stop that. He is Conor McGregor. He's going to fight once every 3 years, and we're going to hype it up, and it's just not going to deliver the exact same way both Poirier fights went and the exact same way this fight against Max Holloway went.
Yeah, no, there's no luck of the Irish. This is over with, my guys. No leprechaun, no gold at the other end for this tunnel. Now, Spence, the rumors, the speculation, everything. I've seen the videos. He was pre-warming up that kick in the locker room. I've seen the speculations of he was hurt before he walked in, the shoe, taking off his shoe before getting into the ring. Spence, what's your point of view on this whole conspiracy theory that Conor was injured before the fight?
Yeah, I don't believe it. We've seen some videos of him in the warm-up room before the fight started. Right. It looked like he was practicing the kick that he was going to start with. Really unfortunate. It would be unfair to just be like, this was inevitable. It did seem like it was a freak injury, but at the same time, why would you put yourself in a situation like that when you're 37 years old, you haven't fought in 5 years, that's going to be the move you decide to come out in the first 10 seconds of the fight to do, and you clearly shouldn't have because you didn't land it properly and you blew up your knee, couldn't even stand on it after that. Now, I will say props to him. He didn't want to call the fight off. He made Max Holloway pretty much finish him. The referee finally did get involved, so props to Conor McGregor for that. He definitely has my respect in that regard, but it just is a sad ending. But I say this for MMA and UFC a lot. The beautiful thing, but also the sad thing about UFC, it's that it never has happy endings for anyone. You never have the guy that rides off into the sunset as a champion. It's rare. You have a couple of those, George St. Pierre, Khabib, right? A couple of these guys, every now and then, they choose to end their career and they go out on top. But for the most part, if they don't get sadly embarrassed in knockout or submission fashion and look completely washed, the only other alternative route for having your UFC career end is if you go the John Jones route, where you just quit and everyone hates you. And unfortunately, Conor McGregor chose the former, and he went out sad. And again, we'll see him again, but I'm done. I'm done with Conor McGregor.
All I know is I will be done when he decides to box Jake Paul on Netflix. That's when I'll be done for sure.
Yeah, his UFC career is as good as done.
Done.
Done. All right, James, no huddle. Let's wrap it up. What you got for me?
Spence, I got a quick one, man. Not too much on the list today, but guess what, man? The Dodgers, man, they have lost 3 straight as a heavy favorite. This was the first sweep for Arizona at Dodger Stadium since 2017. So 9 years since the last time the Diamondbacks have swept the Dodgers. Is this a cause for concern for the Dodgers in the baseball world? 3 straight losses?
Nah, 3 straight losses in July. Who cares? It's going to be 3 straight championships in November. And I say that as someone who is an avid Dodgers hater, but if you think Kyle Tucker is going to be making $60 million and having less than a 700 OPS all season long, he will turn it around. He might even turn it around later in the season and have his first ever postseason where he actually kind of showed up. He kind of was just tagging along for a lot of the Astros success, to be honest with you. But for the rest of the Dodgers, Shohei, Freddie, Mookie Betts, this team is just too stacked. I'm not worried about them losing games in July when they are clearly so far out in front of the rest of the competition when it comes to talent. And they have enough of a farm system that they're going to be in the Tarek Skubal conversation. They'll be active at the trade deadline. And it's terrifying to think about the fact that they could add Tarek Skubal to this rotation.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm with you on this. Hey, we got to find a way to beat the Dodgers, man. One versus the field. Let's go field, bro.
Hey, I know how we're going to beat the Dodgers. It's going to be whenever teams just lock out all the players and we don't have baseball. That's how we beat the Dodgers.
That's how we beat the Dodgers. All right, Spence, man. Hey, man, this is my last one. Like I said, I ain't got a lot today. But, Spence, we talked about last week or so about the LaMelo trade, the Charlotte Hornets, what this is going to do for them, blah, 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 blah. Spence, I feel like the Hornets are cooking up something, and this is the only reason why. All right, there's been a trend. Anytime there's been a draft year with a 3 at the end, we could say there's been generational players. 2003 draft, LeBron James, we would say is
generational.
2013 draft, Giannis, the Greek freak. Would we say he's generational?
I actually was going to say the first overall pick from that draft was generational. Anthony Bennett. No, I'm just kidding. No, Giannis, definitely a generational player.
And then 2023, man, almost rocket that year. Mr. Alien himself, Victor Wembanyama. Would we say he's generational?
It's about as generational as it gets.
About as it gets. So guess who's got 3 first-round draft picks in the 2033 draft? Your Charlotte Hornets. We got to get a generational player out of this, right?
Yeah, but will they stay in Charlotte is the question. Or will they take the Kobe route and get out of Charlotte immediately?
Hey, they might. And you think about it, LeBron, he did leave Cleveland. Giannis has just left Milwaukee. Victor, we still have time. We still have time to leave San Antonio. The churros and the fat ladies, as Charles say, man. It may not be his view. It may not be where he wants to be. But guess what? He's still there. Hey, you're right, man. I don't know too many players want to be in Charlotte. But that's all I got, Spence. Hopefully there's a generational player in this future in the NBA.
All right. Well, good episode, James. We will be back later this week. We will be telling you why the Rams and the 49ers will not win the Super Bowl. And hopefully, at some point this week, we will react to where LeBron James is signing. We still don't know yet. Still waiting to hear. But until next time, for James, I'm Spencer. This has been Big Game Energy, and y'all take it easy.